Got me.
I sure did. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of the BROxFire Podcast. I am your host, LJ Regine, in my gym, BROxFire Fitness, with your co-host,
Will Fuller.
Will Fuller, style guru, Will Fuller.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh, you're so welcome, Will.
You're in a good mood today.
You know, I was actually in a shit mood all fucking day long. Actually, all week I've been in a bad mood, but this puts me in a good mood for some reason.
Oh, the podcast.
The podcast.
Being next to me.
Being next to you and drinking.
Well, that's great. So, welcome everyone. I hope everyone had a great week. You know, I hope everyone liked Dr. Ty Richardson from our last episode.
Dr. Ty Richardson.
As you know, we do not have a guest today.
We don't.
We wanted to go guestless.
We did guestless. It's just us, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So listen up.
Yes, and we just want to say that I hope everyone is well and hope everyone's doing okay. And
yeah, I mean, like, obviously we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, which is, you know, the world seems to be ending, or that's what the media seems to want you to think, or it's already ended, and this is all just a fantasy.
Exactly.
We're in the Matrix now. What are we drinking, Will?
Well, just because, why not? We decided to drink Corona.
Wah, wah.
I didn't know we were going to do that sound. So, but I missed out on it. But I figured it's the time. I mean, you got to laugh if you got to laugh. And we're going to just drink Corona Premier because we're in a gym. Carbs.
We are in a gym.
Healthy.
Carbs.
But Corona. So cheers, bro.
Cheers, bro.
The only Corona that we shall have.
That's right. Now, what's really funny about this is that in typical Will and LJ fashion, he has a monogrammed beer mug, and I have a Viking ale horn. So we couldn't be more who we are than right now.
Right now. Classy. Pinkies
Classy as fuck. Pinkies up. There's no fucking pinkies here, man.
All right. Well, while we drink, always a good time to ask questions to get to know each other.
Yes.
Always random type questions.
Yes.
Let's see. These are going to be a little bit different, a little bit more fun and
quick. Fun and quick. I like fun and quick.
Well, I'm starting to get to know you after a while, so I figured that was like the best way.
That was a weird joke, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's been a long week.
Sometimes
we do this on. Sorry to interrupt you. Sometimes we. Oh, you didn't flinch, and I touched him. Look at that.
I told you before it was.
Sometimes we do this on Saturday, sometimes on Sunday. I feel like on Friday, like, the energy is just different because it's Friday night. You know?
TGIF, like... and we've got nothing else better to do but do a podcast.
Yeah.
How big of losers are we? Woo!
Woo!
Cheers!
Cheers!
So
losers!
Let's ask questions.
Let's do it.
All right. So, what is your most used emoji?
That's actually a really good question. I like that. Well, I have a couple. Can I throw out a couple? Am I allowed to? So I do the bicep flex a lot.
Yep.
I usually pair that with the fire.
The fire?
The fire.
Yeah, that's
so like BROxFire. And then I also do the laughing face, but I like the sideways laughing
you like
face.
The
not the straight on laughing face.
Yeah, so mine, that would be, I noticed.
Oh, I know yours.
Mine is the laughy face.
Oh, the straight on laughy face.
The straight on laughy face.
Yes.
And then I like the thinking one.
Okay.
And then the one that I know you're going to talk about is the thumbs up.
Thumbs up. When Will's pissed off or not in a good mood and you say something and he's acknowledging you,
or if
you get it this.
If I'm at a light and I need to answer you quick. But typically he knows I'm not at a light and he gets the thumbs up. He's like,
and I'm like, what are you mad about?
What's wrong?
What's wrong?
And then I get the voice text.
He gets the voice text.
Yeah. All right. So that's good. So next question. Would you rather have... Would you rather be
wow, doing great.
Say the word.
Doing great.
Invisible.
Ooh.
Or have the ability to fly.
Invisible or have the ability to fly. I would love to fly.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think being invisible. I mean, I don't ever want to be invisible.
Yeah.
I want to stand out. I want to glow.
Stand out.
Yep.
Do you remember the Goofy movie from when we were kids?
Yep.
And they had that song, Stand Out Above the Crowd. That was like the big song that he performed at the end. That's like your theme song, bro. Like, we need to play you that song.
Okay, there should be. There it is. Stand out above the crowd. So, but the thing is like being invisible. If somebody's like, I want to be invisible, I'm like, well, now you're just creepy as fuck.
Yeah, and like
Because people want to creep around and
like just like spy on other people. Like no, people are fucking boring when they're by themselves. Like what am I doing? Sitting on my couch, fucking picking my nose and texting on my phone.
I know,
Like,
why do you want to come in and see that?
Yeah, why would you want to see that? Or like I'm taking a shit and someone wants to watch. It's
They're
weird,
like,
man.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Don't be weird.
Don't be weird.
All right, the next question. Like I said, these are a little bit faster.
Yeah.
So, what skill do you think everyone should have?
Well, where do I fucking begin?
Well, this is one skill, please.
One skill. Is communication a skill? Because it's like communication skills. Communicating. Being able to say, I feel this way, and not like having to fucking pull it out of you and fucking dance around the issue and figure it the fuck out. But you, as a person, being able to say, I feel X. And just saying that, that felt good to share that.
I'm glad. I'm feeling
Thanks,
like
man.
this was wow. I'm feeling good about
These
these
are great questions tonight, man.
Yeah,
I'm really proud of you.
Getting it out, just really getting out there. So I would say the one is listening. Sometimes I will be talking to somebody and I just feel like they lack that skill to listen.
Yeah,
like
when I talk a lot and
I listen.
Okay.
I do. I may think
you
while
don't
you're
listen
listening.
to me.
But I'm listening. No, but I wish that I like when I talk and people listen.
Yeah.
So
Right, which is why we have a podcast.
Because I like to talk and you like to talk. And
yeah, I like to say I feel this way.
and me. You started it with me.
Me.
You're clearing your throat, but you're also reminding me. Okay. What clothing item would make you walk out on a date if someone wore it?
Ooh.
Walk right out. Where you would just be like, I'm out.
Obnoxious shoes.
That's actually a good one.
Like
you would walk out though, and you wouldn't see them till later. So you'd be sitting there, and be like, "Oh, really? How was your day?" And then you'd be like, "Oh, I dropped something."
No. But I feel like when you first see them and they have obnoxious shoes on, you're like, and it's a first date, you're like, okay. Okay.
So I guess I have the shoe thing also.
Okay. Really?
Crocs. If you fucking wear Crocs out, bye. No, because that's just telling me you and I will never, ever, ever.
If you wear Crocs, fuck off.
No, I'm not saying you to fuck off, but just you and me are not meant to be. Oh, I rhymed on that, and I didn't even know it. That was actually pretty good. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Take the win.
So Crocs it is. I thought it was
Crocs.
funny that you said shoes also because
we're, great minds think alike, man.
Awesome. I did have another one if you wore like a tie-dye shirt.
Yeah, but like who would really wear a tie-dye shirt on a date unless you're a fucking crunchy granola person from Vermont or something.
You'd be surprised. Some people just want to be there.
Or from Maine.
Maine. I guess my inner Maine is coming out right now. And I'm just like, oh, these people. So those are my things. But this one I literally thought of you when I was ready. What would the title of your autobiography be? I already know what mine would be just by reading that.
Well, I don't know, but all I can think of is 7th grade. We had a poetry project in 7th grade, and we had to write a bunch of poems and make it into a book, and it was supposed to be about your life. And and I titled mine, Look at Me.
Oh my God, dude. Yours and mine are the same way.
So look at me.
Look at me. So mine would be titled, You Look Like Shit, Listen to Me. That would be my title because I feel like, and I know this is horrible, and people are like, oh, you're so mean. But it's not like a mean thing like I said before. It's more of just like, I really want to just, even the people that I think are dressed really well, I always can sometimes be like, oh, you can do this.
So I have a great idea. When we get really rich and famous, we can both put autobiographies out at the same time, and it could be like, if you put the pictures together, they look like it could be one picture, and mine says "Look at me" and yours says "Listen to me."
Yeah.
We'd be bestsellers. We'd be selling double copies.
Double copies.
Yep.
It would be like us at this podcast.
Yes,
it's like,
exactly.
Yep. All right, cool.
All right.
And that's funny because the skill that I want people to have is to listen.
And the skill I want people to have, that doesn't work.
Yeah, let's try that.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What would you do with your 15 minutes of fame? This is so tough for me.
Oh, fuck, Will. We're not allowed to talk about certain things on this podcast.
I know.
Well, what I would do with my 15 minutes of fame is I would talk about issues that are important to me.
You're 15 minutes, so that means everybody's on you.
Talk about issues that are important to me.
Okay, that's what you would do. We don't.
We're not going there.
Not going there.
We're not going there. I'm going to run for president someday, so
Oh, that's exciting.
you heard it here first.
All right. I never want to
You
put
can
anybody
style
down.
me. Although I feel like I should run for president in sleeveless sweatshirts. What do we think?
We think no.
We would connect with Ohio, all the Rust Belt states, in Florida, the South, maybe not New York City or California, but I feel like I'd
upstate
connect.
New York.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm a man of the people, so.
That's awesome.
So what about you?
My 15 minutes of fame, I would want, I don't know. I think I just want, I have no idea.
World peace.
No, I don't care. My 15 minutes of fame, I just think that I would like to be able to.
All right, Will, let's go.
I have nothing. I got nothing.
Come on, bro. You're not. I was never allowed to have nothing as an
know.
answer. Your 15 minutes of fame. Are you joking me? Your book would be called "Look at Me," and then you're like, I don't know what I would do if
Listen to
everyone
me.
was. Whatever.
Obviously, you're
Mine's
not
look at me.
listening.
Listen to me, and everyone's listening
All
to
right,
you.
So my 15
what would you
minutes
fucking
of
say?
fame would be to like, what would I say?
Bro,
It
everyone's.
doesn't say. It says, what would you do with?
What would you do with it? How would you change the world, or change your world, or get people to notice something you want them to notice? Like what is it, Will?
Wow, deep. I don't know. I think what I would probably do. I know it's lame because I was thinking of this question for you and didn't even think. Like I said, I don't ever think.
You're always thinking of me, Will.
Right. So I would just. I don't know. I think that I would 15 minutes of fame. I think I would just want people to just stop bitching about certain things and just be better. Just be better at what they're doing and just not get so angry at like people. Yeah. So next question. This one
Really fucking put the audience to sleep there, Will.
Yeah, I don't know. I really honestly, I was like 15 minutes of fame. I thought it would be a good question, but
We'll circle back around to that.
maybe. The next question, the last question of the day.
Last question.
And it kind of just goes theoretically with this theme
Okay.
of what's going on in the world. The zombie apocalypse is coming.
Fuck yeah. Let's go.
Who are your 3 people you want with you on your team?
Okay. All right. Do I have to know these people personally?
That is a what? Really?
Like, could I pick like a celebrity to be on my team?
Yeah, but you don't really know who that person is, even if they're a celebrity.
That's true. Okay. So I don't want people to feel left out if I don't.
This is a zombie apocalypse, bro. You could just say that, I'm sorry, I would have picked you, but you didn't make it.
All right. Okay. So I'm gonna say you.
Good answer. Good answer. I'm right.
Because I feel like in the zombie apocalypse, like you have a very like cut the nonsense attitude that I feel like if we were to encounter other people, you would be like, cut the shit. Here's what we're doing. Here's what we're trying to do. Get the fuck out of our way. And like you being like that would probably like be helpful, I feel.
Right.
The second person that I would probably want to be around during the zombie apocalypse is our friend Brody because because I feel that he's like such an intellectual. I am so quick to act, and I'm like, we're gonna fucking do this. That he would be like, well, let's consider all the options, and we're gonna look at
No,
this.
he wouldn't say it like that.
Well, he wouldn't say it like that, but that's how I imagine it in my
He'd
head.
be like, you're a fucking idiot. This
Yeah.
is what you got to do. And
Yes.
he'd be like, oh, okay. But it would be educational.
It would be
like,
educational, and he would break it down for my dumb mind. And then I would probably say Tim, just because I would get in trouble if I didn't say Tim.
all right. Shit. You had to go with
But I feel like Tim would also add a lot of value because he's a scrapper and like, and he's also
I
like a
agree.
monkey. So like if he needs to like get up into a tree and grab
Yeah,
something,
like,
he's the guy
Are
to
they
do it.
coming? Get up there, Tim.
Yeah, he'd fly up there.
All right. So I laughed when you said that because obviously I would pick you.
Oh,
As
what
the
value would I
As
add,
the
Will?
commander. As
The
a
commander.
commander, I would also expect you to pick shit up, heavy shit. I need that.
I would.
No, I need that as I'd be like,
I would
"Oh,
be the muscle.
this tree fell. I've seen you score.
All right. Let me
Lift
just
it
throw
up.
it over there.
Um,
It's like a video game.
I would then do This is actually, I really thought about this. I really actually said Brody. I was actually,
We both said Brody.
and that's why I laughed.
Brody's going to have a big ego after this.
It's because
Or a big chub and things are weird.
Wait, hold on, let me finish. Because we need somebody to sacrifice to the zombies if it gets.
Oh, Brody's that guy?
Yeah.
Fucking Brody.
No, and then you had to go with Tim.
Yep. Yep. I did.
So that kind of tosses it. I mean.
Okay, so if we didn't have significant others.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
All right,
if significant others were not an option because they would have to be there anyways. There's no way that we're going anywhere without them.
All right, so then I would pick my buddy Luke from Maine because he knows a lot of, like, he would be, if you knew him, he would be that guy. You know those movies where they're just like, yeah, and just going crazy and enjoying it?
He'd be like the warrior, that like happy warrior.
Yeah, with this like cigar in his mouth and just like, yeah, and just like rattle him down. And he'd be like, go on without me, and just boom, 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 just keep going. That's why,
awesome.
and he's the first person that came in my mind. So, yeah.
So I get another option then. So I'm gonna say Dr. Ty Richardson.
Sorry,
because you know that. Well, no, because we've already said that significant others would be there anyways. So if I had another option, Dr. Ty. I feel like when we would get into a situation where we need to like negotiate resources, he would be like, "Let's make a deal," and like he would be like the person to make sure that like, well, we're going to give you this, but in return, we need this, and this.
See, but
can you do that for me?
Yeah. See, there'd be 3 people.
Yeah.
And me.
Yeah.
And it's my significance taking over.
Yeah.
And I can't have 2 significants.
Oh, okay. So
sorry, Ty.
Sorry, Ty.
We'll just assume the zombies already got you.
Yes.
All right.
Great question. Well, that kind of segues into what we're talking about today with Sport, Pop, and Fort, which I think we're really focusing on Fort and Pop today.
Correct.
Although there is a little bit of sport tossed in there with what's happening in the whole sports world.
Right.
Well, if you've been living under a rock, which I assume you haven't, you all know that the coronavirus has somehow taken over the entire world, every single news cycle. It's made life very, very interesting. We've never lived through anything like this. And in talking to, I had a meeting with someone today who's a little bit older, from the older generation, and they're like, we've never lived through anything like this either. Like, this is like a very weirdly unique situation that we've all found ourselves in with the spread of the coronavirus. Today, you guys are going to be watching this after the fact, but we're at a point today where it was just declared a national emergency.
Correct.
Which I don't know the last time in our lifetimes if that's ever been declared. Maybe September 11th they declared a national emergency, but that was such an isolated incident. I'm not sure. Like,
it wasn't isolated because we didn't know what was going on at that time.
Yeah,
we didn't know it was isolated until after.
Talk about that. I want to Google when the last time there was a national emergency.
Right. So while we're talking a little bit about this, one of the things that I kind of want to, it deals a little bit with the world, but it's also, but it really deals closer to home. And we'll talk about one of the topics while you're searching about it. There was a passenger who boarded a JetBlue flight after learning he tested positive for the coronavirus, is now banned from the airline. In a statement to the people, the spokesperson for JetBlue said, unnamed traveler, yeah, you better unname it.
Okay. So this is the guy flying to Palm Beach?
Yeah. From New York.
Yeah.
This unnamed who made the journey from New York to West Palm Beach, if you're going to just give me a second, on Thursday night while infected with the coronavirus.
And knew he was infected.
Correct. Will no longer be allowed to be on their flights due to this unsettling, it did put quotes, unsettling situation. Is banning enough? I honestly, can I give you my 2 cents on this?
Give me your 2 cents.
What really pisses me off is that, like, there are old people that it can affect, that it really can affect. There are young people that it can really affect. Obviously, they keep saying that if you're healthy and all that stuff, that, you know, it's like a 2-week flu or something like that. I mean, again, we're not doctors. I don't really know the whole extent to it. But the fact is that you're going to West Palm Beach where there's a lot of older people.
Yeah, I think this is a good sign. I think you just kind of said something I just want to say really fast. We are not health professionals. We do not pretend to be health professionals. We're not medical professionals. We don't know anything. You should follow the CDC guidelines for everything.
Jeez, that's why
everything that we're saying is purely opinion.
Right.
So just...
Okay,
so in case anyone out there is like, oh my God, you're misleading people. No. This is our fucking opinion.
There's no such thing as misleading when you really don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Exactly.
But anyways, what I do know is that the person like that should be right there. A person like that should actually be, in my mind, put in jail. Because theoretically, he is carrying around a disease that a virus that he knows that he has that can or possibly kill someone.
In some states, so this was recently reversed, which I think is super fucked up, but if you have HIV and you know you have HIV and you infect somebody else, you can go to jail for that. They've changed it in California, which is weird, but
why would they be okay with that?
I don't fucking know, because they're all fucking nuts. But it's the same thing. You have something you know you have, you're putting other people at risk for it that could literally kill them. So they banned him from what?
Just flying JetBlue. I mean, JetBlue did all they can do. No, JetBlue did all they can do.
No, 100%.
Yeah, and I think they like for life. For life. Like, you can't get on JetBlue. And I'll tell you right now, you're going to miss those potato chips that they give out because they're amazing. And they're free drinks because nobody else does that.
That's what he's going to miss.
Yeah. No.
So going back to public national emergency, a lot of these are sanctions based, which I think has to do on, it's interesting. I'm not other countries, but the last time that a public health national emergency was declared was in October of 2009 when Obama declared H1N1 the swine flu a public health emergency. Which brings us to the point, we were looking at the statistics earlier, and the people infected and the people who died. I don't remember when in 2009, and granted that was, 12 years ago, 10 years ago?
Yeah,
2009.
Well, it's 2020.
Yeah, that there was this much drama and this much... Dude, I went to the grocery store last night, and people were there were lines. People are freaking out. There was no fucking meat. I'm like... The people down here, so I think the frame of reference people have down here is hurricanes.
Yep.
So, people are acting like a hurricane is coming.
Yeah.
But the thing is everyone's still going out. Everyone's doing shit, but everyone's, panicking.
I need toilet paper.
Yeah. What the fuck is that about?
I don't get it. People try to explain it to me. I literally had somebody today try to explain, well, what you can do with toilet paper is you can take toilet paper and you can wrap it around your mouth, or you can take toilet paper and you can blow your nose.
What?
And I'm just like, but why is everyone buying? It's not, and people are it's not just toilet paper and water.
It's toilet paper and hand sanitizer
and water.
Sanitizing wipes
and water.
But
water, okay, fine, whatever. But again, it's
okay. So here's a couple of things are going on here, right? So
running out of toilet paper. That's one of them.
Running out of toilet paper. A couple of things are going on here. We have we were talking about CNN had an announcement earlier that was this pandemic could bring humanity to its knees. So you have a media that is actively right now trying to create fear and division, right?
No, they are creating fear.
Right. And then you have another picture from the government that is trying to say, we are handling this. We've got this under control. It's not perfect, but we're trying to figure it out. And there's this huge clash. A lot of it's political. We don't have to go into that. But I think it's really irresponsible how the media has spun this thing up. And a lot of people do not have the capacity to be I'm going to stay calm. We're going to just live our lives. We're going to be safe. We're going to be smart.
Right.
You have a lot of people, people need to be led in a lot of ways. There are a lot of sheep and there are not a lot of herders. And sometimes the herders are these people in charge. Not that I'm calling people sheep, but you know what I mean.
No.
People need,
I need to know what's going on.
Yeah, 100%.
And sometimes I just...
But the media being this could bring humanity to its knees? Why are you saying that? How is that helpful? How is that going to prevent small businesses, large businesses, people being impacted? What the fuck?
Yeah,
I just am so...
Let's give us the facts. That's the one thing I wish I could hear more of. Is just more facts on what's going on. Are they coming up with a vaccine? What are they doing about this? And that's the thing. And then they're canceling everything. But here's the point. They're canceling stuff, but they don't know when they're going to restart it. Oh, we're going to postpone.
Postponing events
when?
because... So because
You have a crystal ball?
on the local level, the mayor today basically said any gatherings of 250 people or more need to be canceled. But people are canceling events that have far less people together than that. I mean, listen, the facts, here's what we know. We know that it's airborne, meaning that it can live in the air. I don't want to incorrectly state, but maybe for up to 2 or 3 hours, right? It can live on certain surfaces. So that's why they're saying, make sure you don't touch your face, make sure you wash your hands, make sure you're washing for about 20 seconds at a time, avoid exposure to sick people. There's a lot of this idea of the self-quarantine, or what was I calling it? Social distancing earlier this week. So there are some smart measures, but I don't know, man. It's like you're getting one picture from the government, you're getting another picture from the news that's freaking out, and it's hard not to be, as American, to be like, is this politically motivated? Because everything else seems to be politically motivated in our current news cycle. That it's hard. That the best information that I received this week about what was going on was the fucking Joe Rogan podcast. Everyone was sharing that clip that he had a health expert on talking about the virus and this, that, and the other. And it's like, why the fuck as Americans are we relying on the Joe Rogan podcast as a trusted source? Not that he's not a trusted guy, but it's like
one day
things
we'll
have become so fucking, politicized that like, how the fuck is America supposed to come together? We need to come together like we did on 9/11 and other tragedies and be like, let's fucking fight through this and then start our little fights about this, that, or the other, political stuff. But this is a fucking crisis that could, not bring humanity to its knees, but it could kill a large number of Americans.
Right. I mean, I think the biggest problem that we're having is that...
And that's how I see it.
When I listen or I watch the news or when I flip to the right on my iPhone, I like to read that... Well, everyone does that. And you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, coronavirus.
Or like, Will's texted me, because like I think every morning for the past couple mornings, it's like, Will Fuller. And I'm like, oh, is it going to piss me off this early?
Probably will. That's my job. So, but that's the thing, though. But I mean, like, I've never heard health professional says, doctor says. I've never hear any of that. And so that's the point.
Or or if you look on Snopes or any of those websites that are like those fact-checking websites, there are certain memes that are spreading around. Like one that's going around is that the president may be infected because they're saying the president from another country was infected, but that turned out to be false. But like people retweet things, right? So it's like, it's so hard. We live in this retweet culture where everyone's so trigger happy to give their take and say something that you don't know like what's fact from fiction. Right.
Well, so there was a comedian I was watching the other day and I thought it was hilarious what he said. He literally said on there, he's like, all facts, if you take all the knowledge that you have and that it really will boil down to you heard it from a friend. Right? And so like you deep down go through everything, you're going to figure that part out. And so that's why it's like for me, I just like look out the window or I just try to look at the world. Cars are going by, people are going into businesses, they're doing their things, things are being canceled, and I get it. I understand why.
They're trying to prevent the spread, right? So here's what I would say. The CDC basically says that most Americans are at low risk. There are certain age groups, right? The elderly and people with underlying conditions. Now, one thing that the guy on Joe Rogan did say, and
I really am just, it's another person's podcast.
Yeah, that's okay, though. So Michael Osterholm, he's an internationally recognized expert in infectious diseases. He did say one of the complications in America is that we have a very large obese population, which those folks are at risk because they have underlying health conditions, whether it's diabetes, whether it's whatever, because of them being obese. And so I do want to say that the best protection that you can have and you can do for yourself right now, besides obviously taking care of your germs and all that, is to be working out, eating healthy, lifting weights, and trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Not smoking. Yes, have a drink here or there, but, don't get wasted right now because that's going to lower your immunity. Like, there are certain things you can't, because all we can control right now is how we act.
How we feel.
Right?
And so eating healthy. And again, be careful also when you go and work out. Don't go intense. Don't be like, I got to fight it right away. You got to start slow because that also will.
Right. I'm not
body.
advocating for you to go like, ah, and break a shoulder.
And that's what some people have done, and then they've gotten sick because of that. Really, it's just about just being healthy. Take care of your body, and it's sad that we need something like this to remind you, but that the people that are going to stay healthy the most are going to be those of us who take our health and our wellness seriously. And I think kind of wrapping up the conversation here, it's a good lesson to remember that at the end of the day, everything might be going on crazy out there, right? The world, the media, all this shit. The only thing that you can really command is yourself. Correct. And how you choose to respond to things. Don't panic. Take care of yourself. Continue to go to the gym. And this one specifically, BROxFire Fitness. We're going to be open as long as we can until the government says hey, we're saying that there needs to be a shutdown of certain types of businesses, whatever it is. Listen, dude, we're fucking cleaning every day, mopping, sanitizing. We're doing our part. And again, all you can control is your reaction to things, which I think is going to lead us bigly into our next conversation. Correct. Well, our next conversation real quick is just I wanted to ask you about the sport part. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm really fired up about this. Yeah, I know. And now let's just talk about sports. Okay. I know you're fired up. No, I'm fired up about it. I mean, it's a lot, there's a lot of... It is, no, and I know you're a business owner, and I think that you just want facts. 100%. You just want facts because you want to know... It's like, holy shit, 100%. All right, 110%. 150%. 125%. So with that being said, I know that you're a business owner and you want, just what's going on. You want to just know it so you can tell your people that are working out, don't worry. Or maybe you just want to be like, maybe I should shut down. But you don't know. Because if you shut down, it's not like the money's going to be coming in or anything like that. So, anyways. A lot of tough choices that business owners are going to have to make over these next few weeks. And it's a domino effect, 100%. So that's one of the things. But speaking of domino effects and just things that are weird for me, I just want to talk about... Speaking of dominoes. So dominoes. Ooh, I want dominoes. Ooh, get the door. But it's dominoes. Healthy. Get the healthy ones. In a historic move, and this is just something that we all just need to really think about when it comes to the coronavirus, how big of a deal this has become, right? Is that the 2020 NCAA men's basketball tournament has been canceled by the NCAA because of the concerns of the spreading of coronavirus. As well as the women's. And it is the first time an annual NCAA tournament will not be held since it was first held in 1939. The cancellation affects all NCAA championships in the winter and spring, including women's basketball tournament, College World Series, Women's College World Series, the NCAA Wrestling Championship. What are your thoughts on this? Okay, so give the listeners and viewers a little bit of context. What does that do? Why is that a big? Tell us why this is a big deal. So one thing you have to understand is there's seniors that work their butt off to get to this part of their career, and what it does is it helps them get to that next level. So if you have a basketball player, women or men or college or whatever, that's their opportunity to show the major leagues how they deal in the pressure situations. There has been men, women who have been great and have been looked at as drop down on ranks in the drafts and stuff because of, or didn't even make it because of how they performed in this. There are people who get ready for these type of seasons, and now all the scouts are going to these events to see because that's the next crop of talent, right? And so the thing is now, but let's put the professional world away. Let's say not even that. These are seniors who just live for this. You know what I mean? This is what they do. Who are young and healthy and not an at-risk group. Right. What's to say that they can't hold these events? They were supposed to. And not have fans. At first, they said that they were going to do that, and now they just said, let's cancel. You know what? Okay, so I read this today that in Virginia, and close to D.C., because I have a lot of friends up there, that one of the reasons why they chose to cancel school in certain districts for the next 2 weeks is managing the hysteria of the parents. Not that it was actually a real risk to the children. Right. No, that makes sense. And it's the same thing here. It's you wonder if it's they're getting pressure from parents or whoever or their community to be you guys can't hold these events right now because everyone else is doing this. Domino effect, and you know what? Right? Let's just be realistic. I mean, I get it. It's really tough for them, and I honestly feel bad. It's a rock and a hard place, right? Because if something happens, they're going to be
They're
like,
gonna get
I told
blamed.
you so.
Yeah.
And if nothing happens,
Who's that big sports guy that got the coronavirus? That's
I don't big sports guy. I don't know if he's big. I think
he was like, isn't he like the owner of a team or something?
Cuban.
No, hold on, let me Google it.
Yeah,
because they were talking about him on Sports Center.
Honestly,
today.
man, everything gets so buried in the media with this. I mean, it's unreal.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what I was saying while you're looking that up
Yeah.
is that I really just think that there's just so much things that people were doing, looking forward to, and they're just missing out on it. Seniors, I mean, I feel just bad for the seniors. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, if you're a freshman, you're a sophomore, junior, you have next year, you know? But for seniors, it's like, oh, great. For the first time since 1939, we're shutting things down.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, well, what did they shut it down for in 1939? They didn't. That's when it started. So actually, it's never been shut down.
You know, I think that, you know, like with, I'm looking at all celebrities here. Tom Hanks, Rita Wilson, we know.
Yeah, Tom Hanks got it.
Danielle, I don't know who that is. Oh, Rudy Gobert, not the owner of a sports team.
Oh, yeah, he's not a superstar.
Okay, but they were talking about him.
Sorry, Rudy.
Because he was criticized for carelessly touching microphones during a press conference before his diagnosis, because he was like, I think he was like joking about having coronavirus and was like being like, I don't have it, and was touching everything. And so he had to issue a statement today being like,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, because,
But the guy who was on
fucking internet mob comes after you.
The guy on JetBlue doesn't need a statement to say he's sorry.
Yeah. I mean, man, it's just crazy.
He got on a plane.
I gotta think that I hope that whatever happens with this situation, that there will be some rescheduling of something, because those kids deserve a chance, and I'm sure someone will figure out a way to do that.
I agree 100%.
It just sucks right now, but I mean, my brother-in-law, again, so they're doing the same thing, because obviously they've canceled baseball for
spring training.
Spring training. So they're still practicing. They're just not. It's just internal, right? So it's more like a camp.
Yeah. Well, baseball is a little bit different because they're just the fans. Obviously, they're more worried about. But in the game, it's not as much. They're not that close.
It's not a contact sport.
Yeah, it's not at all.
Yeah.
So again, it is what it is. But that's our topic. That's
yeah,
sport.
And sport popping Fort. And speaking of Fort, we can't report on anything Fort, because most of the events.
For like Man About Town.
Yeah.
So Man About Town, canceled. Nothing going on. Wear your pajamas. If you want really nice pajamas, you can do that. But,
a lot of events have been canceled locally.
Yeah.
Some events that we're involved with are under review right now, whether or not they're going to be canceled or not. And but I do want to say that the Chamber of Commerce Small Business Awards are happening in May, and so far they have not been canceled.
Well, we all have to. Somebody's been.
I was nominated twice in this year. Only one nomination counts, but I'm saying that not to be like, look at me.
Yeah, you
like
are.
My autobiography.
Yeah,
but
totally is.
To point out how the chamber is really behind small business, and I do want to say that. I've gotten multiple emails from Dan Lindblade, who is the president of the chamber, the CEO of the chamber, and talking about the local response for small businesses, talking about how he had a roundtable with local congressional leaders.
Yeah, he's done an amazing job.
About finding funding and sourcing, and he's been very much, because he understands the economic impacts, and I can't say enough about the Chamber of Commerce and how they've helped my business. And if you're a business owner, small business owner, get in touch with your chamber, because there will be people there, especially during the next couple of weeks when we're uncertain things are happening, to help support you through this tough time. I'm kind of laughing about it because I'm like, there's not actually an event that's happening, right? Like with a hurricane, it's like we're all getting prepared.
Right.
But like, what are we preparing for?
I don't know. I have no idea. That's the thing. You know, the one thing I'm really happy about is that I can get gas. That's the one thing that stresses me out. When the hurricane, and they'll be like,
all right,
they'll be like, say this is the world, this is Florida. They'll be like, there's a hurricane starting down here, and all of a sudden there's no fucking gas in Florida. Like, we still have like 2 weeks, people.
They're like, there may be an off chance that it comes. There's a 20% chance. People are like, gotta fill up.
Yeah, get all the gas,
get all the bread,
and no water, and you're just like, I still got to go to work, and everything's got to go. So, anyways, but yeah, I'm just happy there's gas. So,
so I do want to say though that the so far right now, I don't think the chamber has canceled a lot of events, but I just want to find the
I just
date.
didn't really want to put on too many, like for the Man About Town. I think we should hold off on talking about events because we don't know if they're going to be on.
There's going to be certain things that are going to change.
Yeah, and so a lot of things could be postponed. I always love that, postponed to when. But things are going to be postponed and stuff like that. So right now, the Man About Town is just don't go about town because right now there's a lot of things canceled.
So the Small Business Awards are May 8th, and as of right now,
we're really pushing that. We still have we're in March, bro.
Okay, but I was nominated for.
I know you were nominated.
In the health and wellness category.
We have a lot more podcasts that we will do before that day, and I will want you to wear a crown that time.
A crown, you say?
A crown, you say?
Okay.
So, but anyways,
if I win the award, I will wear a crown.
I bet you will. I really think you would, and I would not be surprised at all. And yeah.
Okay, so there is one event that has not been canceled still. The Handy Prom. Ty was here talking about it last week.
Right.
Ty and I are putting together we're raising money for Handy for this prom, and our goal is to raise $5,000.
Where's he at right now?
Well, this is a special subset of it because the goal is if we raise $5,000, I will shave my beard off.
Oh, shit.
So I'm going to put a link in this video where you can donate money. But if you want to help underprivileged students as they're transitioning out into the real world.
I'm just staring at you right now, just trying to picture you without that fucking beard.
Well, I'm actually pretty fucking handsome.
Well, I know, but are you still? It's like those people that when they like grow back their hair and they used to be good looking with their hair and then they grow it back and you're like, not so good looking anymore. Is that jawline still the same?
It's nice and square.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe it.
So we're raising money. So there's a Man About Town for you.
And you'll figure out if it is square if we hit it.
Square. All right,
yeah, bro. I got a square chin.
So we're gonna launch right into GoProBro.
Yes.
GoProBro.
Let's go, bro.
Kind of along the theme of what we've been talking about today is fear and how we handle fear. A lot of times when we go through intense life experiences, we have a choice to make. And so this can be anything from starting a business. This can be choosing a new path in your life, maybe in a relationship, or this could be a traumatic event that happens to you and how you handle that. I think the theme of today has been your ability, your only real choice is how you react to things.
How do you overcome things?
How do you overcome things? So I want to talk about, today we're going to be sharing Will's story about his accident that many of you don't know that he's had, and maybe many of you do. And he's going to share a little bit about that with us and talk about his recovery and some difficult choices that he had to make, which continue to make him one of the proest bros that I know.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
So, we joked around a little bit before. I think it was like on our second podcast about a new face. And there was a few, not a lot, our 7 viewers, maybe 3 of them, asked, what does he mean about that new face?
Yeah, what does that mean? What's that weird joke?
Well, yeah. I got to tell a little backstory about it. But,
okay.
3.5 years ago, it's going on 4 years, in August, it was August 26th. I was going up to Maine. I was up in Maine to see my sister's wedding, my baby sister wedding. And she was getting married, and it was like a big deal. And we got there Thursday, and then Friday I was getting ready to go for a run. It was early in the morning, and I was working out, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to go for a run. And I don't know if many people, like a lot of people in Florida, they kind of can't understand like the way a driveway works in like Maine. Like you would understand.
I get it.
Yeah, because you were in the rural
It's just
part.
like long stretches of road, and then like a curve, and then like a
you
random
don't see
driveway.
the driveway right away. It's like you have to know where it is
because there's not necessarily a mailbox,
right?
Demarcation.
Yeah, but so I was just standing. I was getting ready to go for a run, and I was standing at the end of the driveway, And what happened is, and apparently, so I was told about this because obviously I don't really remember all this, but I was standing at the end of the driveway getting ready to go for a run. I was looking down at my my cell phone, getting ready to do the run app, and a distracted driver went off the road and hit me going about 30 to 40 miles an hour. I was just standing there, and what happened was when she went off the road, when she hit me, my face hit the windshield, and my leg basically was just thrown to the right, and then I was thrown into a rock wall. The hardest part, and it's still hard for me to talk about it because my wife and my mother saw the whole thing. So my wife was on the porch of my parents' house, and my mother was literally, I mean, I can't describe how far, but far enough that she saw the whole thing. And I don't really remember anything after that. Obviously, I woke up in the hospital in Boston. Well, if you know where Maine is, you have to understand that I was life-flighted from my parents' house in Harrison, Maine, all the way to Boston, Brigham and Women's Health, where I woke up not having an idea. The nurse literally looked at me, and she couldn't tell me. She couldn't tell me where I was, why I was there, because I had no idea. All I really, honestly, truly, deep down remember is looking down at my iPhone, like getting ready to go for a run. Actually, I don't even remember really looking down at my iPhone. I just remember being like, I'm going to go for a run.
So you don't remember like the point of impact or anything?
Not anything like that. Nothing. There's nothing. And also doctors tell you not to remember because it was the most probably devastating thing you'll ever want to remember. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with not remembering. But just hearing the stories, to know, just to think about what my family went through at that time. I mean, again, let's not forget, and I know people are like, oh, you got to think about yourself. My sister was getting married the next day. So I was supposed to go for a run, and then me and my all my brother-in-laws or boyfriends at that time, they're all brother-in-laws now, we're going to go golfing, and my sister and my wife were going to go out and do this women's stuff. And so, and then all of a sudden life changed. Literally, life just changed. I'm in Boston, I'm in a coma, I'm waking up from a coma, and
what was your first thought when you woke up?
Honestly, where am I? Like, where is this?
Did you panic? Did you freak out? Was your heart?
I think my heart rate was freaking
elevated?
because the nurse came running in. There was no way. How the hell did she know I woke up?
Yeah.
Okay. So then I was like, how did she know that I woke up? But it was because of that. And I started asking her questions. She was like, I can't tell you. I'm not allowed to tell you.
Like legally, she wasn't allowed to tell you?
I don't think she was allowed to tell me because I would have a million questions. And really, she knew that I need to hear it from a family member but nobody was there. So I just had to wait for family members to get there. Finally, my wife was there. I was bawling, like, what's going on? She's crying. I couldn't see myself. So to describe to you what happened is I shattered my tibial plateau on my right leg where I needed to have...
What does that mean if you don't know?
That is your bone in your right leg, not the bone in my right leg. The tibia plateau is... there's a bone. No, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know.
Yeah. So a bone in his right leg.
Yeah.
People can't see.
Okay, so I had that. So that was broken. Luckily, it wasn't shattered or anything like that, but it was broken really bad. Yeah. And I had my whole facial was shattered. So everything under here, jaw, everything was shattered. And I wasn't worked on at that time. The only thing that they could do was just check to make sure that I was okay, like with my brain function.
So your face was disfigured.
It was actually really all it was is this was all stitched up. I have a scar here. Maybe the lights can show it, and I had a scar here. But disfigured, it was just more like the best way somebody described it when they saw a picture of me. If you remember Rocky, that one episode, it was like
swollen.
Yeah, it was like Adrian, and he was like looking for her and all that stuff. I wasn't yelling Adrian. I wasn't yelling oh god. But I'm just saying like my face was that a little bit more swollen. It looked like just that bad. And so a few days later, it was the 30th and the 31st of March. I was leg surgery, then facial surgery.
Now, was the facial surgery elective? Or like, did you elect?
I have no idea. I don't remember.
No, I mean, like, not elective, but like, why did they need to reconstruct your face?
Because it was shattered. I had
Like
no
the bones were
all the
shattered.
bone, my cheekbones and everything was shattered. My jaw.
Because I know you had a plastic surgeon, right?
Yeah.
Did it? Yeah, and so like I think people think plastic surgery like that it's something you choose to do, but it was like if you didn't do this, if you didn't have that surgery, you would have had a disfigured face.
I would have had a disfigured face. I would have gotten infected. I wouldn't have survived.
Right. So they literally had to change your face.
Put titanium. I have titanium all in my face right here.
Do you really?
Yeah, titanium right here, right here. You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, no. So what happened was
you're not supposed to touch your face right now. This motherfucker's touching his face.
So I'm touching it. So I have,
I actually didn't know that. I thought you had titanium in your leg.
I do have titanium in my leg, but I also have titanium all in my face right here. Yeah. So the cool story is I had this doctor who worked on my face, and he was one of the top doctors in Brigham and Women's Health. And I was wondering why.
Well, clearly, look at this face.
Yeah, I got lucky. I was blessed because what happened was he worked on me, and the whole time I was like trying to figure out why this guy was working on me. And the facial part was the longest because your eyes get stitched basically shut. Everything's just like stitched. They go under your eye, like under here, under your eyelids, like so.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And they get it in there. The
fucking
guy's
Frankenstein.
Yeah, they rebuilt this guy. Humpty Dumpty. They put me back together again. And so the thing is he worked me, and when I finally was able really to talk, because you understand everything, my jaw was wired shut. I was able to, people were like, oh, so you had to do solid food. I couldn't eat solid food for a long time. The dental and all that stuff took forever. Because you have to your jaw, and then I could only open, if anybody can see, I could literally only open my mouth this much after. So I had to learn how to reopen my jaw, learn how to really like talk again, and all that stuff. So all of this stuff just from this accident, and over time I just had to like learn how to do different things. Plus the other thing is that you just had your face redone, and it's like you're like, I'm gonna be hideous. I'm going to look like hell, because when you see yourself...
And then he looks like a fucking model.
When you see... I don't know. Let's not go that far. But when you see yourself, at first you're just like, you notice, like, you completely don't look right. And, like...
what did that feel like?
It was scary. Because I have always been that person that, like, the way I look was very confident. And so when I would, like, walk into a room, I at least knew, like, I wasn't, like, the best looking guy, but at least I knew I was, like, I looked good. And so there was days that I would sit up and I would be like, I'm going to have to rethink about stuff. I'm going to have to figure out,
How long were you in the hospital for?
See, that was the part that was really weird, is I wasn't in the hospital very long in the sense of being in the hospital. Brigham and Women's Health had like a revolving door, which I did complain about to them later, because there's a story that most people don't know about me. So what happened is this story people don't know about, but I was in the hospital. I was from the 31st, I think it was a few days later, they had me out. So it was basically bed rest, and I had to go back to the doctors every once in a while to get stitches out. Then I have to go back and work on my face to get stitches out, and then my jaw was wired shut, so I had to have that taken out. There were steps, but basically it was just resting at home. There was really nothing they could do. The scariest part was I started to get a pain in my back. And when I was at my sister's house, and we just went into a local doctor. Long story short, literally long story short, I had a pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot in my lung from my leg, because I was not getting blood thinners. So yeah, this just got deep. So there was so then I had to go back into the hospital for something else. So the freakiest part about this whole thing is I literally had to go into the hospital and now take blood thinners. If anybody knows about blood thinners, it slows down healing. So now my facial, everything's taking longer. My leg is now taking longer, because my leg, I couldn't bend it, really. So I had to keep it straight. I couldn't put any weight on it and all that stuff.
So was there a point where you had to make a choice about how you wanted to command yourself in the situation?
Right. So when I was sitting outside, I was told by a doctor that I would not walk right ever again. I wouldn't talk normal, just because of the way my jaw was, apparently. And and I wouldn't be able to do anything. I wouldn't be able to run again. And then they literally told you this. I mean, not to say anything like, oh, screw doctors, because that's not what I'm saying. This doctor was just looking at my situation and was like, it's going to be a tough go, kid. You know what I mean? Like, let's just be real here. And I remember sitting outside in my patio outside when we were living in Boca, and I'm just sitting there with my legs straight, just looking at the lawn. The grass is growing like crazy, and obviously I can't even cut the grass. And I'm just like, I remember thinking this, and I remember saying this, like, this is not going to be me. I'm not going to let this injury, this incident be my life. And I remember saying that whatever the doctor says I can't do, I'm going to try to prove them wrong.
And fucking look at you now.
Yeah.
Like, you are obviously an active member of my gym. You talk very well. You're a good-looking guy, have a lot going for you, lots of friends. Like, you have taken this situation where people told you that this was going to be the rest of your life.
Right.
And that just goes to something I feel very strongly is that it's all about the story that we tell ourselves about ourselves. That whatever story we tell, because you probably could have very well told yourself the story, yeah, this doctor's right. I'm not going to be able to do this, this, and this, and you probably wouldn't.
Right.
But you chose a different story.
And I have to admit, like, people don't understand. Like, people are like, you're just lucky or you're just able to do it. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I work out here, and there are days, and you've seen it, like, it hurts. And it's just days. But you know what the thing is I feel better the next day. You have to push yourself. You can't give up. I know that whole thing about, like, people saying about giving up. It's so true. You literally have to just push yourself. And I just use people who are going through worse things to motivate me. If this person can do that, I can do this.
We live in such a soft culture that, and I deal with this a lot, that I have people who could be potential clients who have all the fucking excuses in the world as to why they can't work out, this, that, and the other. And I'm thinking to myself sometimes, this motherfucker right here basically like slayed demons that you probably will never experience in your whole life, and look what he's fucking doing. Like people don't realize the potential that they have. And so I believe that everything is placed in our path for an opportunity for us to learn and grow, and however reason why this was placed in your path doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But you have taken this and you have shown that you can come back from any catastrophic event. You almost fucking died. Right. And you are sitting here with me today sharing a beer, looking your fucking stylish little self over here, and I'm proud of you, man.
Appreciate it. And what I tell people is, like, people are like, how did you do it? What did you do? I just found my motivation. I think that's important, that you need to do that. Deep down inside, you need to find this motivation.
Yeah, what's your why?
My why was, I don't want to get emotional. So my why was that my mom watched me get hit by a car. My parents saw, my dad saw this. My wife saw it, but most importantly, my parents saw this. Yeah. And when they saw me at my worst, and when they see, like, their son at the lowest point in their life, no matter what, no matter what they've been through, this was honestly the worst thing our family has ever been through. The worst thing my family has ever been through. And we had to come together as a family. But the one thing I realized that when I woke up from my coma, my parents got a little bit better. When I got out of the hospital, I got a little bit better. When I was able to eat food, they got a little bit better. So I realized the better I got, the stronger I got, the better they got. And I realized that when they saw me walking for the first time in a video, they were in joy. I mean, it's weird. They saw their son walk. I mean, yeah, they saw their son walk before, but now they're seeing their son walk at a certain age. And so that, for me, when I was like, okay, that's my motivation. And so then when they saw me doing CrossFit, when they saw pictures of me at the time when you used to do CrossFit, they saw me doing weights where I would do squats. And I remember there was a picture that my wife took when they were there, and as scared shitless as my mom was, she also was like, okay, he's back. Like, he's not going to let this bother him, so I'm not going to let this bother me. And that's where my motivation. You have to find your motivation to take you to that next level.
You know, I think one of the things that I feel very strongly about in life is, you know, we are kings and we have a kingdom. So everyone, king or queen, you've got your own kingdom, and whatever happens in your circle is the domain of your kingdom.
Right.
And so you realized that your kingdom, you needed to continue to bring yourself up, and that would bring everyone else around you, because we don't live in a fucking vacuum. We have people in our lives that care about us and
right.
rely on us. And I think that's fucking beautiful. That's what family is, right? Like we have the capacity to bring each other up. And I just want to say, like, this is what makes it really special for me to do what I do, because I've never had that experience. I don't know what that is ever going to be like, but
Please
knock on that wood. But the fact that I get to be part of this journey for you back to who you were, but even like a newer version of yourself, it makes it all worth it when I go through my own dramas about being a small business owner and this, that, and the other. I'm like, I'm not just doing this for me. I'm doing this for my family, my kingdom of people that I can affect, so that they can continue to push themselves forward. So,
right.
You change, like, this has changed your life, but you've changed my life.
Awesome. Well, I'm happy to hear that, because if any step that I can take helps other people, that's also a goal. Like, if I didn't give up, you're not going to give up, and that's kind of what my goal is. And I do love telling people in the gym when we're running or working out,
right?
And then they find out later.
And I make bad jokes about him having a new face, and thank God he got an upgrade and all that. But he's got a pretty dark sense of humor about it, so it's good. So listen, so the point today is, and this ties in super well with everything, the hysteria going on in coronavirus. Grow the fuck up, people. Seriously, grow the fuck up. You're going to have, what's that?
No, I said that's true.
Seriously, you're going to have so many fucking challenges in your life. Stop being a little bitch. Get off the floor. Stop whining about this, that, and the other, and make a decision to push yourself forward. You had to fucking make a decision to push yourself forward after this happened. I've had to make tough decisions. We all going to make fucking tough decisions, and that's what being a pro bro is all about. You want to play with the big boys or the big girls. You want to push yourself forward. Okay, you're going to have shit thrown in your way, but you're going to have to look that fear square in the eye and say, "Come on, motherfucker, let's go for round fucking 2." Right. Look at the shadow square in the eye and say, "Is this all you got?" Because I imagine there were probably some pretty dark days that you had.
Oh yeah. And giving up wasn't an option, but it was there. It was right there.
It was right there. You could have grabbed it, man. And that's, you know what? Fuck yeah, that you
you got to go support. My wife was awesome through the support. She took care of me. Literally, I couldn't walk. The things, you don't imagine. But to have the support, to get the friends that were on Facebook, were messaging. But here's the other thing is, one thing is, we're going through this thing with the coronavirus and all that stuff. Yep. Reach out to your friends. You don't have to touch them. You can text them. You can FaceTime them. Have fun with this. Especially
your friends who are more loners and keep to themselves more anyways. Check on those folks, because they may not feel compelled to to move forward and reach out to their friends. So or even your neighbor who may be a little bit older that you don't know very well.
Might need toilet paper.
I was reading this thing on Twitter that this woman said she was coming out of the grocery store, and a woman rolled down her window, 80 years old, nice card, nothing weird, just said, "Hey, I've been waiting here for an hour. We can't go inside. We're a little bit afraid. Do you think you could buy these 5 things for me?" Gave her $100, and the woman nicely went inside and bought the groceries. Like, there are probably people in your local community that you could help right now.
And you gotta, the older people, and as much as we joke around, the older people are people who are, that have stuff that they can get sick really easily, and this could really affect them. It's not a joke for them, and I get that. So if you can help them out the best way you can. But at the same time, don't let this run your life. That's all I say.
Don't let fear run your fucking life.
Because right now, if you're in Florida, it's not the end of the world. If my friends in Maine, I really haven't heard anything about Maine, anything really happening too much there. You have to understand that it could, but at the same time, just keep living, keep pushing, keep going, keep doing what you're doing, and drink Coronas, because I feel bad that they didn't do this. They had no reason. They had nothing to do with it. Everyone's like, Corona stock's down. I'm like, what? Come on, people.
All the stocks are down. Wow. All right. So we covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah, we said this was going to be a quick one.
We did. Here we are at normal time.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the last word today.
You take it.
Listen, guys, we like to make jokes, and we like to take the piss out of each other and just have a good laugh. That's a British phrase. Take the piss. It's a great British phrase. But at the end of the day, I hope you guys can see that part of the reason why what we do, and part of the reason why I love my gym and any community that is a micro gym is there's a lot of love and a lot of care and respect that we have for each other. And there's nothing like having a brother on your side that shares this kind of stuff with you, that you can share your stuff with. And we grow up in a world right now that kind of tells us that it's very isolated. We're all on social media all the time, but just the impact that you can have on the people around you, the difference you can make in your friends' lives. Don't forget that even if you think that you're the most lame person, you don't have any friends, or people don't care what you think, there are people in your lives that give a shit about what you think. You brighten people's days. And just fucking remember that as you're going through this weird time that we're in right now, that you matter. And that's what I want to say today.
Can I just say, great job?
Thanks, man.
All right, no problem.
All right.
Last word.
So thank you guys for joining us for our latest episode of the BROxFire Podcast. We'd love for you to come check out the gym. You can go to roxfirefitness.com or DM me. Work out with this guy. I'll coach you. And anything else to say, Will?
No, that's about it. Just that's about it, man. I really appreciate everyone paying attention. Oh, there is one thing.
Oh, one thing.
One thing I want to say.
Say it.
All those people who keep asking about those 30-second clips, and they're like, where's the rest of this?
The link is in the description.
It's in the description. You have to literally click on that. Go to YouTube.
Go to YouTube. We live on YouTube. That's where our viewers are.
You can see us.
That's where you can see a long-form videos, YouTube. We put a lot of clips on Facebook. You can listen to us on Spotify.
So all of that stuff.
It's always linked in the description.
I'm telling you that now. It's always in the link. It's above us. In the
These motherfuckers, they can't even navigate a fucking description.
I know, but we're telling you now. So when we're going to create a clip for this, and
there's going to be lots of clips.
You're going to be like, what happened to that 30-second clip? This is the one that tells you.
Click the link.
Click the link. The blue one. The blue one above. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Have a great rest of your day, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
From the enemy, you're a superhero. You're a superhero.